I got bouncies. Yes, I think I'm properly impregnated, properly cameratized at this time. Do I have, is it working?
Yes.
It's working. Sorry, that whole thing just made me thirsty. Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Drunken and Dragons. Every time is the first time when you're me and it comes to computers. So thanks for bearing with me there. One of these days, I'm going to choke that tiny little USB neck on that little camera. I'm just going to choke it. Anyway, here's to you. Got ye old blood wine. Just couldn't resist it. Doesn't really fit into the Spartan training diet, but you know, Spartans were drinking this stuff, and look at their abs. All right. Well, hey, saw everyone in the channel for the last 10, 15 minutes. Sorry I didn't jump in the wacky text banter there, but here's some crazy news. I was just finishing publishing the first Runehammer novel. So that's awesome. Yeah. So there's like a million buttons you have to click, and I was clicking said buttons and then got into some kind of time vortex where I was clicking the same 4 buttons that are going in like a logic circle. So I was like, I must publish my book before the live stream because overachieving. So anyways, that was happening to me. Welcome to the show, guys. What's going on? Why am I sitting here? What is this strange environment we're in? Whoo, 5 a.m. Oh man, well, thanks for showing up. 5 a.m., that's awesome. So right off camera over in this direction, I've got the laptop with all you guys' comments. So if you see me like looking down here in some weird way, it's not because there's some kind of, you know, strange scene of demonic phantasmagoria happening over there. It's just simply I'm reading your comments. I have the camera set up in this crazy way because I wanted to share. Whoa, I hear myself in the distance. I'm gone. Huh, okay. What was I saying? I completely blanked. Bung wires, drink. Fine. Maybe that's the reason everything seems so confusing right now. Moving too fast, freaking out, and just getting ahead of myself. I'm getting in the weeds. You guys know how I do that. All right, let's just have a nice heroic quaff for the elder gods, eh? Well, you don't want to drink it all in one go, do you? All right. Woo! Well, hey, from Canada, from Louisiana, from the north to the south, we've got to have some D&D come out my mouth. So, all right, rewind. Let's breathe. Let's calm down. This is what it's like at the beginning of every D&D session, isn't it? It's like everybody sits down. Everybody eats like 40 handfuls of Cheetos really fast. One guy's like already annoyed because he's got his character sheet ready to go, and he knows that like he's hanging from a grapple hook from last session. He's just like, quit socializing. But there's this frantic moment where you really just want to get into it. You just got to slow down. You got to let the dice speak. You know what I mean? You don't have to be reading out your book or anything. Just remember all your prep. This is very similar, only without all the prep or the skill or the excitement. Okay, so why are we in the new domain here? What's with the new camera angle, dude? You're blowing my mind a little bit. I just wanted to share with you guys a big achievement for the channel, which was made possible by all of you guys' generosity on YouTube, as well as everybody showing up for the Daring and Doomed Kickstarter, which did pretty good for a little card game for my first try. And because of all those people working together, I managed to score a nice 22 HD cintiq. And what the hell are you going to do with a cintiq drawing screen, drawing monitor, tablet? You might be wondering. Well, that is the subject of tonight's live stream. So I thought I would just try a new setup. Now, eventually, I want to get it where I can live stream my screen. Like, if you guys go check out a YouTube channel called Draw with Jazza, he does some really fun live videos where you're getting a live feed straight from his monitor. And there's a little like mini cam so he can talk to you while he's drawing and working. So, oh yeah, hey, it's my Castle Crashers Necromancer shirt. Anyway, so the idea was I wanted to do some more live stuff on the channel, and to really do quality live shows, I think it's really important to be able to draw in real time and kind of share that whole creative experience. And I just couldn't get a camera angle on the dry erase board that was anything but garbage. So I think this is going to work a lot better. So I just got my thingy up here. So I have made this little doodad right here. So a lot of people have been asking about these little guys. A drawing monitor. Damn, troll. So you guys have seen that I've been doing some of my adventures with these wacky little 2D world cards, right? And I have monsters for them as well, but they're mainly like terrain and props and obstacles. There's a cart. I mean, come on, how cool is that cart, right? So you lay these out on your board as your adventure unfolds. It allows a lot of improv. It kind of puts a comical spin on the whole night that's really makes it fun and easy to DM. So if you're like a lot of people who are watching the channel and you're just now getting into D&D and it's like 3D terrain blowing my head up, like I'm supposed to do all that shit at the same time. No, just drawing out 3x5 cards with your Sharpie is so easy and so fun. And right away, DM Scotty made a brilliant point, which he always makes brilliant points before he is Yoda, praise his name. That not everybody can just whip out these cool drawings, and maybe you want to look up some images on the internet and print them and all that stuff. Definitely try it. But you know me, I'm all about drawing your own stuff. I think it puts like a really original tone on your game, and it doesn't matter if you draw it good or bad, honestly. I think your players are going to see the fun and the spirit of it, and that's what starts to come alive. And I mean, you guys know how cool it is when you have a sort of a doodler in your D&D party, and they're always drawing the character portraits of everybody, and that's really cool. And this is a similar thing. It's not how good they are that matters; it's that it's happening. So, there we are. Now I feel like a normal human being. So what I wanted to do is just sit you down in a world that I spend way too much time in, which is just kicking it with my drawing tablet, my, what did I call it? Oh, my drawing monitor. And give you some idea of how you can execute these little 3x5 cards. And with, like me, terrible drawing capability. So I'm pretty good because I have so much practice, but when I started, I could not draw a square. I couldn't draw a circle. I couldn't draw anything. I remember trying to draw TMNT when I was a kid, and it was just horrible. And being a constant overachiever, I was just like, I am nothing. Take me, oh Lord. So it all came down to practice. And now I'm in my 40s, and I still draw kind of goofy, but you know, made a living out of it, so it didn't do too bad. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can get started. Whew, the intense DIY. It's necessary to combat WotC. Yeah, Joey. So there's a bunch of people in here that looks like there's some new people. Ben Osborne, Eric Sheely, yo, what's up? Tank of a Frothing Ale. Okay, Eric Sheely, you got it. Let's start with Tank of a Frothing Ale. So let's say you're running around a dungeon and you're having trouble getting your players to move where you want them. Now, a classic thing is that you want them to walk over a trap, right? I mean, just for sadistic pleasure. Or because you're constantly pecking at character hit points. It's essential. They need to think the whole world is out to get them, because it is, and it makes the game exciting. Or let's say that you want the opposite to happen. You're finding that your players are always going headlong into all your dangers, and they're eating up your contents too quick. So you want to give them a sort of a side route to buy some time, because your next encounter is a little dicey. Maybe you need to work on it in your head. So what you do is you tempt them by making a card that is a frothing tank of ale, right? And this is not, oh, a frothing tankard of ale. So there's like a huge mug sitting on the floor in this dungeon. Okay, so what are you going to do on your card? Now, my first piece of advice is when you're doing these cards for your game table, do not give a rat's ass about what perspective you draw the object. So it's not a literal map where you just see things top down, but it doesn't have to be like minis where you always see things from the side. Just do whatever the hell you want. Draw whatever's easiest. So what's a tankard? It's like a cylinder like that, and it's got a handle, right? Okay, woo! I think I'm about halfway done. Okay, so I already started into the next step. I need my foam too. And then there's a little bit coming off. Okay, so there's my tankard. Super simple. So now how do you turn that into a drawing that kind of has some kitsch and some fun to it? Well, first of all, make sure that your 3D sort of part is okay. So, whoops. So you just want to get rid of lines that are not making it look proper 3D. And in this case, that's all. That's all there is. There's like 3 little lines. Now, the next one is called line weight. And all it is redraw your object like 5 times with your Sharpie. It's super simple. So what do I mean by redraw it? Literally just draw the shape again like this. Yada-dee. Don't even try to follow what you drew before. Just draw it again. That's all you're doing. Draw it again. Put the foam on there. There's a little thing in there. They have these like grooves on them too, right? All I'm doing is drawing the exact same lines again. And since Sharpies are big fat markers, you kind of get that effect. You're kind of done. Maybe if you want to be really cool, put a shadow down here. There you go. All right. Then another thing that I'll do on my cards to make them kind of cool looking on the table is I'll take a corner and I'll just draw the corner in a little bit like this. And all it does is make it look like this is a card, That's it. That is the whole thing. So there is your tankard of ale. So literally at the game table, you're going to take that much time to draw a freaking prop or a monster or whatever. So let's just kind of start getting into it a little bit. So let's get rid of that one. And let's get this one. There, we got a clean one. All right. And then we're ready to draw again. Okay. So each one of those that I'm just doing on my cintiqs for convenience would be one of these little guys, right? So another one, super, super handy when you're doing DMing is doors, man. Now, Wylock is brilliant because he does those clip-on doors. So like his doors will clip onto his terrain. What's so cool about clip-on doors, you ask? It lets you stick doors anywhere. And when you get into DMing and you know that you have this sort of lobster room where there's going to be this lobster monster and he's in there and he's guarding this like possessed doll. You know that you're going to do that in the dungeon, but your players muck everything up and you don't know how to get them back where they need to be. Don't ruin the night to make sure that the lobster encounter happens. Just add a door to a room. Now in 3D terrain, if you have a simple setup, it can be pretty easy, but sometimes it's not very convincing. It looks like you just made it up. With the 3x5 cards, it's super easy. And all you need to do is draw a door. Once again, don't worry about perspective. It doesn't freaking matter. No one cares. Here's how you do a door, uber easy. First step, do a bunch of zigzags like this. Yada da da da. There you go. Then, just like always, draw it a couple times. So I'll draw it a second time, maybe kind of put some heavier lines on the side. There you go. I'm done. Okay. Now, draw a freaking door. Everyone can draw a stinking door. I'm just drawing one that's pointy because pointy is dramatic, right? Put a line down the middle, put 2 little C shapes, and you're most of the way done by now. So maybe now just kind of put some other junk up here, right? Maybe just use the tip of your Sharpie and do little wood lines like that. And then remember the rule, you want to cardify your cards. So draw in the corners. Draw in the corner and then kind of scribble. I mean, you guys can see I'm not doing some kind of secret ass drawing technique. This is it, man. Draw in the corner and draw in the corner. Bang, you got your door card. And then take your happy little door card and you can put it right on your table wherever you need it. And your players can work their way over to the door card. So the key here is that, yeah, totally. And then, yeah, and then the doorknob actually is a mimic, and the doorknob like tears their hand off. You know, and you could actually play on that idea. So let's say you wanted a mimic doorknob, you could kind of hint at it in your drawing. So you make these big doorknobs, and then you kind of put little mouths on them. And they have like little eye dots. And is a player really going to notice that? Probably not, but it's like a little skull doorknob. That's awesome. So, hell yes, it's really easy to make this stuff on the spot and draw it in a way that's fine. It's perfectly good enough because you're not using it like, behold, the art of Pathfinder. You know, no, that's not what's going on. Okay, so let's get rid of that one. And let's just throw that up there. Okay, now we're ready to make another one. Okay. There we go. All right, we're ready to draw again. Boom. So do you guys see what I mean? Use a fat Sharpie too. The fatter and the bigger your Sharpie, the easier it's going to be to draw something that kind of has some kitsch and some funny to it. All right, so I just drew a couple of things that were kind of like side viewing. So what if you want something that's top viewing? A classic thing that you're going to want in a room is just a barrier, right? Like you use a short wall in 3D terrain. It's like yay big and yay tall, and you use them all the time to create little room dividers and move your players through circuitry, right? Let's pick the most frequently created 3D terrain object of them all. Rubble! Oh, the joyous rubble of D&D. So how do you do rubble if you're just drawing with a Sharpie? Draw like 5 or 6 freaking blobs and do them with semi-angular shapes. Okay, there's most of my rubble. Then put in a couple planks, right? Because there's always planks. And, you know, this is stuff that everybody knows. Everybody's seen D&D terrain where there are planks. Okay, now you're just putting some little dots in and stuff. I don't even know what those are. Okay, then the same step that we always do, redraw what you just drew. So just go over the exact same lines and kind of fudge it a little bit. And I'm not doing anything special here. Here's the lines I drew before, and now I'm drawing them again. And I'm kind of making it a little darker, and because ink is bleeding everywhere, and my ancestors are laughing at me because I can't draw, but I don't care. I don't care. Here's a happy little plank over here. Okay. Then, you know, these are supposed to be rocks, so you put some little weird zigzaggy lines like cracks and stuff on there. You're pretty much done. So now for a top down, you may or may not want to do the card edging, but, you know, I kind of always like doing it. I think it's kind of neat. You just draw in the corners like this. And just fill in the corner a little bit. It kind of makes it like it's a game piece or something. I don't know, something quaint about it. And, you know, fill in a couple spots, make it nice and dark. There you go. Done. Rubble. So how long was that? I mean, it was 45 seconds or something. That is the time that one player could stop looking at his damn phone and check his character sheet for his proficiency bonus. You just made a prop for your dungeon. And the best part is you can use that sucker again. You got this 3D card again. Like, look at this one. Look at this goofy shit. This is like a cloud of poison gas. That is a high quality drawing right there. But actually, it's really weird. I've used this thing like 14 times. I love this thing. We have these grenades. Well, you know how D&D is, but long story short, we have lizard men that throw poison gas grenades. Okay, when it happened in the game, it sounded a lot more reasonable. Now that I'm recounting it, it sounds absolutely freaking ridiculous. Can you throw in a dead guy for the party to loot? A perfect idea. So again, just kind of like the mimic doorway. That is a classic trope that everybody knows, right? Is there's a dead body over there. I better go check if it has the tome of Narlotep in his pocket because D&D. So you don't really have like a cool little dead body prop or whatever. And remember, this is a 3x5 card. It might get a little big because it's going to be bigger than a mini, but you don't care about perspective, right? So you got your Sharpie and you draw a head arm, body, arm. There's a leg. There's the other leg, and then detach the foot here. Pretty easy, right? Now, just leave your drawing like it is and draw around your drawing, like this, for your puddle. Okay? Then fill in the puddle, but don't fill in the body. Now, in art school, they'll tell you this is called like chiaroscuro or negative space or something. None of that matters. Don't believe in any of that stuff. Just don't draw in your body. There you go. You're done. So I'm not sure how long that took, but that was not a very long time. And then remember, if you want it to look a certain way, you can kind of fill in your corners. And I think it gives it a sort of a, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Kind of cool. There's the foot. I almost colored in my foot. There you go. So now I have my dead body card, and I can, you know, put it wherever in my dungeon, and it'll lure the characters. Now that's really what you're asking for. I'm not sure who. Oh shit! He already scrolled up. Ridiculous. Anyways, the dead guy can definitely be loot. A dead guy can be trap. A dead guy can just be a dead guy. But what you can almost count on is it will lure the players. And this is where the mechanical side of DMing to me is so fascinating, is that you can take such a simple little prop like this and like induce player behavior. And that inducement is the art of dungeon mastering. It's when you induce them and draw them, and they're kind of scared, but they want it, and they have hubris. They always think they're badasses, so they just walk into your encounters. They walk over the pressure plates and just take the damage from the poison darts. But it's fun to be that character who can lure them with simple things like a little dead body. So hey, thanks for the suggestion, man. Dead body is a great one. So let's keep going. We're kind of on a roll, right? Okay, there's our new blank card. And I think you guys can see pretty good, right? Yeah, it looks pretty decent on the stream there. Whew! So let's take a break because I want some drink. I think the real lesson that I was hoping to describe with the cintiq was not necessarily like, hey guys, here's how to draw with the Bob Ross of Dungeon Mastering, although I love that concept and I think we're going to run with that. It was much more the usefulness of the application of the 3x5 card technique. Now I've seen people use cards and write things on them, you know, like say the road or the cave or the castle and stuff, and then kind of put them out to give people a sense of space and everything. And I think just as easily as writing the name on a card, you can draw a junky little drawing. It's not a matter of how good you draw, it's that you draw. And that's what it really comes down to. So just feel free. And, you know, just like good dungeon mastering, you always practice whatever you're going to do at the game table by yourself first, right? You got your, you know, you got your long bottom and your salted pork and your dwarvish ale, and you're kind of alone, and you get that snickering kind of evil scheming time. Great time to practice your Sharpie 3x5 art. Draw a skeleton, for crying out loud. Draw a door. Draw a spike trap. Draw whatever. Holy crap, holy, look at all this stuff. Holes and spawns, yes, yes. Ruins. Okay, ruins are a really good one. Let's try ruins. Oh, have the card be used as a gift for a PC character sheet. I love it. So let's do, we'll do a couple kind of at the same time. All right. So if you want to do the gift for the PC thing, let's try the ring, right? So you do your gem, you do your blob, you do your ring, and then you do your thing, and you go like that, and whoop, you got your ring, right? So then you just kind of decorate, and then just do like you always do, which is redraw your drawing. So go back over it, go back over it. Maybe there's a sort of thing into there, and then kind of go back over it there. Put some little random lines in, make it look like you know what you're doing. And okay. There you go. I always do these little things. It's like a blob with a smaller blob next to it. I don't know what that thing is. I kind of don't care. I just do them on things. Kind of give them a curve like this. Yeah, there you go. All right, there's your magic ring. So you're ready to give your magic ring to your player, and if you want to make it magic, you know, you kind of do one of these. Maybe it's actually like an eyeball ring. So instead of just a random blob in there, you put like a, you know, like an eyeball like that. It's a ring of seeing. And then the player gets to keep the ring. And maybe you know, kind of put a note on there. It's +2 AC. Right? Now, I know this isn't like, wow, this is so cool. This is amazing how well you drew this. And oh, you're a practiced artist. That's the point I keep hammering on, is like, it's simply a matter of just going for it and using this as a creation tool. Because honestly, the people manufacturing products generally for tabletop groups come up short of the dynamic needs of a really good dungeon master. Okay, so anyways, enough of that. So let's get this ring out of here. Shoot, you stinker. All right. Now we got ruins. Now, ruins are a big object. So you could do multiple ruin cards and create like a little space. Or you could, if you're keeping it real simple, like playing Dungeon World, or if you're playing Fate, or you know, a less spatially accurate game, you could just have one 3x5 that's the ruins. So how do you do simple ruins? Once again, you ignore perspective. Perspective is your enemy, because perspective is hard. Perspective is like where you got to do like this kind of thing, and then there's like, it's diminishing, and then there's this cubic thing, and then there's a line here, and then there's a wall, and it's like, it's thick and it's all 3D, and oh God, no perspective. So you've got two options to do ruins. You've got top down, which is kind of going to feel like obstacles or very literal. It's going to feel like it's really there, like it's cartography. Or you've got just kind of like, here's a caricature of ruins. I'm going to go with caricature because I'm a lazy weirdo. So if you guys have seen my my woodland 3D terrain set, it has these kind of oddball ruins in them. So I think I'm just going to do those. You know, and I don't even know what these things are. They're just sort of like pillars. Anyways, as you go toward the top of the page, they just kind of get smaller. And then put little shadows on the little weird things. And you can see I'm kind of already halfway there. So just kind of take your Sharpie. And once again, you're just drawing over what you already drew. That's the key. Always draw things like 4 or 5 times. If the paper can take it, you know, 3 or 4 times. There's some little doodads up here, little things. You know. And then you got, of course, your silly little cracks that you put in stuff like that. Little dots, little dirt dots, and here's some cracks. All right. Put some extra little lines, make it look like you know what you're doing. And then there's kind of a little path going through here, like that. And then, classic move, you put a little stick man right down here for scale. See that little stick guy? He's got a little shadow too. Comes over, do your corner. Do your corner. Got a little sloppy there. Kind of maybe darken things in, give them some more mass, give them some more weight. And you're done. There's your ruins. Whoop! Cool. So pretty dang simple. Now that's option 1. Option 2 was the more literal version. Okay, so let's say you wanted more like a cartography feel to your ruins. So then you would want to kind of indicate where the masses have gathered, or since it's ruins, remain. So it's kind of the remains of a round building like this. And then there's some, always just do these series of lines, make stairs. And then there's like 2 pillars. Okay. So there's your basic drawing. And then the rest of it is just, again, draw what you already drew. Just like this. Sorry, going as fast as I can. Okay, now, no good ruin is complete. So this is like a top-down ruin without a cool, like, seraphic mark on the floor. So a seraphic mark is usually always starts with a circle, like this. Now notice, this isn't like a perfect circle. I'm not the king of circle drawing here. Okay, then instead of drawing a complete star, do the first 3 lines, then put an oddball line and a little circle in there, and you've got your seraphic mark. That's some ancient witchcraft wisdom. Then again, putting in little dots and things to make it look like you know what you're doing. And then corner in your card. Maybe get one nice dark corner where it feels kind of scary. There you go. There's your like top-down cursed ruins. So it doesn't give the players like this tremendous, oh my God, wow. But it gives you something to stare at while you're building up your role play. It gives you a seed to put it in your own mind of like, whoa, this is like that scene in Dunwich Horror. This is cool. Stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. I'm trying to catch up on the comments. Sorry, I've been kind of bombing the comments. But anyways, that was really, I had two things I wanted to talk about tonight, and that was the first big one. First of all, thank you everybody for all the support so far. You got me the damn cintiq. I got a printer. I got a forklift full of shipping stuff out in the garage because we're about to ship all these card games. It's going to be really great, and it's just the beginning. We're working on a totally ground up custom RPG right now, which is what started all these 3x5 cards. And we're going to be bringing that to you guys. We're going to collaboratively work on those rule sets together when we're ready. And then going to write as many novels as I can every year. Right now, it's like one per year, but hey, that's not that bad. But anyways, that is where I want to be. I want to be where the audience, you guys are helping me out to push the tools, and the tools make better stuff. And then we just keep it rolling forward. So thanks for the cintiq. That was the first thing. Second one was like how easy it is to draw really fast and to just relax with it and draw these kind of silly, sloppy drawings and just go with the flow. It's all good. Use them in your game. It's a great alternative to 3D terrain. It's super duper portable. It's really easy to improvise with. And my player's been really like yucking it up at these cards so far. So that was topic one. I think we made it to the first thing. I said the first thing. Hankering makes me feel like a lazy bastard. Oh, come on, don't be that way. Nobody's lazy in this world. Everybody's got their own challenges. We're all on our own planes of existence, man. Everybody realizes different stuff at different times. Everybody's on fire one time and, you know, kicking it other times, or swamped with work, or you got kids, or God knows what happens. You got medical crap going on. Everybody's got crap going on. And we're all just doing our damn best to kick ass, right? So there's no need to feel bad about anything. We're all just working it. And I rebuke you, W. Kwan. That is not capitalism. What I just described is not capitalism. That is collaborative artistic support. Capitalism is where I constantly explode with greed and smite all of you by robbing you of your hard-earned money to give you as little as possible. That is not what's happening here. I rebuke that term. And that is not what we're doing. It's not what I want to do. I want to be creative, and I want to know people are enjoying it, and I want it to be reciprocal. And the best way it can be reciprocal is to push the tool set. So hell yeah. Otherwise, thanks for watching, man. Talk about planes. Oh, wait, not planes like airplanes. You mean the planes. Well, yeah, that's it, Joey. The planes, well, that's too big of a topic. I mean, do you have a way to narrow it down a little bit? I think my productivity stepped up and not just Kevin Billiot. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think a great way to think about it is not productivity, because honestly, when I say that word to myself, I just want to die. I just want to crawl under a rock. I hate being productive. Being productive sounds horrible. I really like to consider it an indulgence. It's just constantly getting away with playing a bunch of D&D. I love it when it feels that way. And I think it's great to drive in yourself this sort of giggly feeling like you're sneaking into a movie that you're not allowed to see. Because I think if it's just, I'm the dungeon master and I need to be productive, I need to make maps, or I need to get the thing ready for this weekend, it won't last. You just like a year will pass and you're just going to hate it. But I think if you look at it like, man, you know what I miss doing is screwing around with my buddies. And I think were we playing D&D when we were screwing around? And you just want to get back into it, and just, it doesn't matter what the hell you were doing. The fact that mattered is that you're with your homies and it was goofy and it was a free space. And you get that, man, it doesn't matter what system you play. It doesn't matter how good or how bad you are at it. It's that you're together, and it's that you're screwing around and you're arguing about silly things. That's what it's all about. And this actually gives me my second topic. But first I want to answer Daryl here. Planes of existence, how they relate to each other. And how do you deal with planar travel? Oh, man. Planar travel is not something to be dealt with, but something to be enjoyed. Planar travel is the lazy DM's best friend. And let's face it, we're all lazy DMs. So let me kind of try to plot this out a little bit. Okay. Here we got a workspace to work on here. There we go. Okay. So if the planes are a lot like the realm of Midgard and Vanheim and Svartalfheim and Jotunheim and all that stuff. So if you imagine the cosmos, and like here you have, you know, Toril, where the Sword Coast is. And then over here, you have this big cubic plane of ice, right? And then down here, you've got the plane of fire, and everything's fire. And then up here, you have the plane of air, and it's all cloudy, and it's great. And then over here, you have some crap that you made up, where it's just like some happy plane. The best thing about this is that the distance between these vastly different bio environments, ice, air, crazy, fire, is zero. This is not distance right here. When you're moving around on the Sword Coast, even go from like freaking Waterdeep out to those stinking, the Dagger Isles is like 2 weeks of sailing. Now, a lot of people will just brush that over in their campaign, but like when we went from Dawn Pass to Lork, it took us like 3 nights of gameplay because we want that world to feel cool. Once your players are high enough level to be moving between planes, it's awesome because 1 week you're in Iceland, the next week you're in freaking Fireland, and then 2 weeks later you're in, you know, Plato land, and you don't have to deal with a bunch of wagons and rations and all that kind of stuff, which frankly bogged the game down horribly. So anyway, planes of existence, fuck yeah, pardon my French, get them in your game immediately. Experiment with it. It's super fun. The best way to introduce yourself to it is to do a 1 enemy encounter inside a plane and then be blasted back out. It's a little taste of like how crazy crap is inside the planes. Plane of fire is the biggest slam dunk of them all. Plane of ice is a pretty big slam dunk because fire has such a potent effect on ice creatures. You know, you want that Pokemon magic to happen, and that's the magic of the planes. You get it to happen in a small dose and then you pop them back out. So do that thing. Put the Simpsons plane in your own game because that's astral plane. Oh. Okay. Brings me Springdale, Illinois. Brings me to the second topic I wanted to talk about on the stream tonight. Woo. Man, that first one was a doozy. Man, that stuff is good. What? I hear a voice from beyond. Okay, the voice says never mind, so I'm never minding. All right, topic number 2. I'm going to roll some mouse guard dice for topic number 2. Oh, nice. Got it. 2 swords and 2 snakes. I wanted to talk about what we just briefly alluded to a minute ago, which was this sense of productivity or creative endurance is what I wanted to call it. Creative endurance to me is the limiting factor that gets a lot of people out of the game, that keeps people from enjoying it, that makes them lose touch with the game. And I think what happens is that it gets difficult to keep the damn thing fresh. It's hard to keep people meeting every week or every other week, but it's harder to make it constantly feel like, whoa, right? It's like, imagine a 14-hour movie, right? Like after the 3rd hour, you're like, you can only fade to black so many times while Frodo gets on the boat, yo. Like, you're out of ideas, my man. Like, just end the movie. So as a dungeon master, as a D&D player, as an enthusiast, as someone trying to hold your group together, trying to have fun with it, how do you mine a deep sense of creative endurance. And I think it's a question we're all asking ourselves. Yeah, man, it starts to feel like work. For the 4th hour, I got to pee. Everyone dies, right? Well, there's another huge video coming on party wipes that I'm excited for you guys to see, but that is not the topic for tonight. It starts to feel like work. L.A. Jackson, by the way, that has got to be the name of like some fringe Avenger we haven't heard about yet. But L.A. Jackson, you're right. It starts to feel like work. And for players, probably not. They just show up and get drunk and say, I attack. But for the dungeon master, it is a constant strain because you really do want everyone to kind of get their mind blown, at least in small form, every damn week, right? And over time, you're kind of like, man, I already have a job. I got to come home, and I gotta make ramen and like take the trash out and stuff. I don't want to forget. I just want to watch a movie. I don't want to sit down and come up with a story arc. It's the opposite of that moment where you're just jumping into it. You're just like, everything's possible. You want to try everything. Oh my God, I'm going to play D&D every hour for the next 3 months straight. I think the real dividends of the game are beyond that barrier of creative endurance. So, okay, you understand the problem. Give me an answer, Hankering. That's what you're saying. This is a hankout, right? So how do I do it? Because for me, it's feeling like work, or like I'm running out of gas. I don't know if I want to play anymore, or I just got back into it and I forgot how hard it is. It's all complex, and like my stats are all fucked, and like my encounters suck. So what do I do? Whew. Well, I think I got 2 pieces of advice. Hank out what you drank out. Never ending story grew tiresome. Yeah. Make sure your camp. Yeah. This is actually very well said. Drorf. Your campaign is not an infinitely fascinating story. Period. The first tip I have for you for creative endurance is like, accept it. So if this is your start and this vertical plane is awesome, and this horizontal plane is time, the normal campaign basically goes like this, right? That's your average D&D campaign. And right about here is when the game feels like work, people start not showing up, and you poop. And it's not cool, and it's over. And for a lot of people, this is about 6 months. And for the more experienced players like Scotty and stuff, this point probably comes every few years. But it's real, and it's not like bad. You didn't screw up. This is a real problem. This is tough, man. Okay, let's try this chart again. But this time, we're smart. Okay, here you got awesome. And here you have time. Set your game up and feel the flow and like detect it as it's happening to build this kind of a curve. Oh my God, Hanker Inferno, what the hell is this? This is not the point where I feel like this is work and people don't show up. This is where I tell everyone we're taking a 6-month break. Right? But what we do is we come, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Soul Gem, bitches. Woo! Level 12, mofos. And then instead of going, okay, everybody, now we're going to get into level 13. And I thought up a new storyline, which is all political intrigue. Oh my God, red light. Best to just bang. You're the lords of the realm. You saved it. Maybe your descendants, or your NPCs, or your relatives, or your friends, or whatever in the game world then become the players, and they return to a point right about here. There's no going back to this. This is a rare and beautiful moment, but somewhere about in here, and they begin to climb again. This is going to help you a ton if you know this ahead of time. It's kind of like going into a huge party, a house party with your friends, right? If you see this as the night, then you're not taking shots here. This is 7 p.m. You're taking shots right about here. This is like about 1 a.m. So right about 3:30, you're jumping off the roof with using a sombrero as a parachute, and then boom, sleep. This is 5 a.m., right? Very similar with the creative output that you can do. So that means pace yourself. Man, right in here, you got like displacer beasts, rust monsters, umber hulks, bugbears, you know, like undead bugbears. Got some interesting stuff coming in, like an ankeg, maybe you have an etin, and that's all right in here. These are not like crazy, fascinating, awesome monsters. Up here, you're getting maybe into a mind flayer, maybe a giant, maybe an elemental. Right here, screw dragons, by the way. Dragons are throughout. Just never use a dragon as a supreme climax. It doesn't work. This isn't a dragon. This is some kind of crazy, weird stuff. And don't do a Tarask. It's very clumsy. It's bad storytelling. I guess this could be Strahd, since that's the flavor of the week right now. But this is a complex, interesting villain that has a lot of tricks up his or her sleeve. And the tricks are the key. So anyways, set yourself up for this curve so that you don't burn yourself out with this incredible beginning. And you guys have seen a lot of my videos where I talk about this. Never overthink the beginning. The beginning is a couple of rooms and some players and like some skeletons. That's it. You have no idea what's going to happen. It's mining what does happen and who the players are, and then creating the story. Just look through the monster manual, think to yourself, oh, dark mantles are cool. I'd like to throw one of those out. That's fun. Boom. There's a night of gameplay. Build a little story around a dark mantle. Just pace yourself. Don't overdo it. Don't get all Josh Whedon on that shit. Unless you are Josh Whedon, in which case, no, fuck that. Don't be Josh Whedon. Look what he did to us. And his recent awesomeness does not, let's not get into that. I recently used a Illith Lich. Oh yeah, undead Illithids are terrible. Anything that's like invisible and doing mind control is just a nightmare. So Hank, you have a cutoff level in your campaigns to avoid boredom. Jason Coutinho, that is a fantastic question, my man. And yes, it's generally between 10 and 13. It's really cool to get up into the 18 area. Spelljammer, planar travel, fighting the immortals, fighting primordials, stuff like that. It can be pretty cool, but you really have to have an insane level, not only of skill as a DM to control it, but a ton of patience to just run the damn game. I mean, people at that level are rolling so many stupid dice and have so many dumb bonuses, and really it's the same game. So instead of working your way down through 23 hit points on a monster, you're working your way down through 470. And the resolution of the game actually isn't much different. And you guys know my opinion. I think generally D&D scales very badly. Not because of the epicness. The epicness is wonderful. It's just the clunkiness of the game. We're already feeling it, and we're about to bump into 8th level. And we're feeling some of that, like, you know, doing 40 damage kind of feeling. And it's kind of like, wasn't that like a breath weapon? Good God. And you just start to lose a little bit of your sense of reality. You don't have that fun feeling of like, you know, stumbling through the farm and finding stakes, and it gives you 3 hit points, and you're kind of excited. 470 hit points of bullshit. Yeah. Oh man, killed Strahd 4 weeks ago. Boy, the whole Ravenloft thing is really great. I'm just really disappointed that they're touting it like, here's our new awesome 5th edition release, guys. Ravenloft from the 80s. It's just like, fuck. I'm having a Firefly emotional breakdown. Thanks. Hey, yeah, man, just go with it. Don't fight them. Let the tears come, man. That was messed up what they did. That was weird. So that's what that was the first point I wanted to make about creative endurance. You know, think smart about that climax and how you're going to build it up, and see it ahead of time so that you get to enjoy some of that simplicity, man. You're just in the woods. There's like a darkness modifier. People are stumbling around in the bushes, and there's 4 displacer beasts. Like, I would challenge everybody watching the show tonight to try that encounter. literally do a dark woods where it's hard to see, some tangly vines that are some dex checks, and 4 displacer beasts, and limited exit. And maybe as a timer, what could be a cool timer? There's like a stagecoach coming, and it's filled with skeletons. Right? Too many for the players to fight, in theory. So there's no easy egress, so they need to come up with something. They can't just run away. They need to sort of hide or have some kind of Scooby-Doo plan, and that plan's not going to work with the displacer beasts tearing them to shreds. So try that encounter. I swear you will love it, but you got to know that monster really well, and then know your dex mechanic and your darkness mechanic really well. Know your timer, your threats, and your tools, or what we used to call a treat. I've changed it to tools because treat feels too much like frozen yogurt. How do displacer beasts even work? Oh my God, Daryl. Get a monster manual. Get in there. It's all about blinking. Our rogue actually has a crafter in a town making a displacer beast cloak for him. They skinned the things, and they have those disruptive surfaces on them. Oh yeah, Daryl, you're going to have a blast, man. Get in there and find out. It's going to be great. What's your opinion on games run without physical assistance, i.e. old school conceptual games with dice characters and talking? Joey Giovotella. Joey, that is generally referred to as theater of the mind. And contrary to popular belief, it is not the origin of tabletop gameplay. Tabletop gameplay actually originated in wargaming, which has tons of physical assistance. But when fantasy gaming started, the supplements were very limited, but not non-existent. If you go back to first edition, even Tunnels and Trolls and stuff like that, there were paper supplements with maps and minis and stuff. But what's my opinion of it? It's okay. I think that's all I can offer. Some games like Dungeon World are really violently trying to put you in theater of the mind land and like, let's be an improv comedy group. And it's kind of a noble idea, but I just think it gives the players one less thing to look at. You really want something to stare at when you're playing, right? Which is actually a really good point for this board right now. Like, we should have something to look at. Let's throw a sword up here really fast. So, and now I'm doing, trust me, there's a point here. Redraw what you just drew. Make one side dark because lighting, chiaroscuro, and Vermeer are cool. All right. There we go. So the point I wanted to make by drawing that stupid sword is that isn't life a little bit better now? Because you have a silly little marker drawn sword to look at. I mean, imagine if you had something decent to look at, like a cool Umber Hulk, right? Here he is. And they have the big eye there. And then they have the numerous smaller eyes. And then they have that freaky little sideways mouth. Just bear with me. You'll see this is a psychological experiment that you can all participate in with me here. Okay, here's his big shoulders. Whoa, this guy's crazy. All right. Doop, doop. Enough. All right. Just having those things to look at, life is a little bit better for you chilling over there, hanging out in the comment room, right? And this is, I think, the same with tabletop gaming. Just having something to look at really improves the experience. I've emptied my mug. And I think this is the biggest value of having a visual aid in your game. It isn't that the tactics get clear, that the mechanics get cool and everything changes and wow, man, my mind is blown because your sculpture product is so great and holy crap, you're a master of sponge painting and like DM Scotty needs to get a tutorial because yo, dude, you're the jam, right? It's not that extreme. It's just that there's something to look at besides your phone or your DM's face or like stare at your dice or your rolling box and like wonder what the meaning of life is. And I think you're probably feeling that exact sensation right now because I'm drawing and you get something to look at as I draw. Right? So just the fact that there's something over here, even though it's very poorly drawn, I might add, it just gives you something to focus on while you're thinking about the game at hand. And that's fun. And to me, that's why I think the theater of the mind never quite grabs the group like a game that has any kind of, it could be Legos, it could be anything, but it's something to look at and focus your imagination on. Yay, something. I never liked the DM may I feeling of it. Yeah. Drawing a sword and states there is a point. I hadn't realized that's pretty good. Let me sharpen this. There you go. Now it's actually sharp down there. Oh, what just happened to my, I hate right click. Right click is like for academics. You know, like look at all this silly stuff it does to me. What is happening here? Jitter, like I need that. Come on, get out of here. All right, there we go. So, whew, there you go. Okay, now, contrary to my own advice there, I just delete stuff. Things I've been drawing lately, I've been drawing these like mouse guard guys, and they're like, these guys are cool, man. So you just draw a little mouse guard guy like that, and then you can like, you just put any body on a mouse guard guy and he's cool. You know, you do that little belly highlight. Talk about a digression, geez. Okay, what's going on? After what you said about visual components, how are they doing with the simplistic too? Oh my gosh, John Reeves. Hey, John Reeves. You guys, we have a hero in the chat room here. This is the guy that proofread my novel for me for the cost of one Elder Gods mug. Very impressive. So he's going to get paid on the next book. But this is a character you might want to get used to. This is my proofreader right here. The answer is very surprising, John. They love it. They love the 3x5 cards. I would dare to venture that they like them better than the 3D terrain. I think it puts a more casual, fun kind of tone on the game. And I don't know, it's just, there's a real hoot with it. And there's something more loose because the grid doesn't feel like it matters so much. And there's a little less tension with like where things are. And it feels like you can kind of wing it with some fun moves a little more. I think it brings out a lot of the best instincts in the players. So I was really surprised. I basically introduced it just to save time and to be kind of goofy. But damn, it really worked out. So what would, so just while I'm drawing, what would be another one that you guys would want to see? What's a classic thing you're always putting in your dungeon that you need a prop for? Like a corpse is a great one. I mean, talk about all the, it's just everywhere. Oh, well, while someone comes up with one, what's the name of your novel, Hankrin? River Tyne. Thanks for asking, River. It is called Mud and Horn, Sword and Sparrow. And if I have my act together, it's available on Amazon right now. I think I published it like 10 minutes before the live stream. So if somebody wants to try to search Mud and Horn, Sword and Sparrow, that's the title by Runehammer Books. It'd be awesome. But that's the name of the novel. I hope you can grab a copy. I think you'll really like it. Man, the novel thing, I thought I did like a horrible job and botched the story up and everything. So I kind of walked away from it for several months and came back. It's a really fun read. So I'm really proud of it. I think everybody's going to have fun. Okay, a portal. I think the book's like $9, Nick. A trap. Well, a trap is a tricky one. So you kind of want two drawings on a trap. You want sort of like, hello, I'm an innocuous floor tile, right? Which is like a square, sort of a shadow. Mother shit, I'm all over that. Whoa, L.A. Jackson just lost his mind. All right, so there's, like, you don't want to put too much detailer in here. You'll really reveal that it's a trap. But if you're just in a closed hallway anyway, like here's your hallway, and your players are confined, like right here, then Fine, no big deal. So that's your first card is kind of this drawing. And then your second card, if you wanted to keep your view the same, you kind of draw your square again and then do these little guys. Right? And then you kind of want to do your spikes down here. So just draw a bunch of triangles that all point out. And it'll look like spikes. Like that. And then in the middle, kind of do random jaggy shapes like this. Then do what you always do, which is draw your drawing again. It'll make it look like you know what you're doing. And then put some random little junky lines around it and make it look like you had some kind of, there you go. So you draw these two cards. Actually, better yet, you make your bottom black like this. Just using your Sharpie again. Then, well, you're gonna have to plan a little ahead if you're using a Sharpie. I'm cheating with Photoshop, but you can cut out the negative on your spikes. So you get that like scary black pit feel. Right? That's great. So yeah, that'd be really fun. So you could draw it a lot better. You know, you could kind of put some little crack detail and you can have little footprints and, you know, you can draw the walls a little more and stuff like that. But I think you see the idea, which is if you have 3x5 cards of these two things, you can just switch them during gameplay. You know, you don't need to show the player demarcation here. Get rid of that. There we go. So yeah, you see what I mean? So that would be a great way to portray a trap using 3x5 cards. You know, if you wanted to be, you've got like new players or you're kind of a bit of a sarcastic troll DM, you could have this big panel on the floor has a skull symbol on it like this. You know, classic kind of, you know, this kind of thing. And then they're like, well, that's probably like some kind of a trap plate. And then you get that wonderful moment that never happens in D&D where a rogue actually gets to disarm a trap and like people like him for it. Okay, Joey, if you can't find it on Amazon, that means I'm not quite done with the publishing process. So we will get there. I literally just was publishing like literally 30 seconds before I hit the broadcast button on the stream. That's why the beginning was all botched. So I was like, I got to get that novel up because it's Tuesday. Whatever. Welcome to my world. Now what is that awesome background fire picture you own? Oh, wow, that's the first time that question's ever been asked. Thanks, Daryl. Actually, that's a painting that I did exclusively to be backlight for the channel. When I was setting up my camera, I realized that you really need like one nice hot piece of light in your camera shot, and it will make all your other colors really good and they won't have noise in them. You'll get nice dark blacks and good skin tones and stuff like that. So I did a couple of paintings that are based on like orange acrylic paint that were meant to be feeling like gathering around a campfire. So that's what it is. And then I just put a light behind it and you get this kind of nice campfire-y tone. And it's kind of my thing. It's kind of my angle. Kind of, I see a lot of YouTube videos where the colors just don't feel good to me, and I don't like that. I'm color picky. We threw a bugbear in a trap. Yeah. It's definitely a precedented action. So simple and easy to do. One over cookie. Yeah, Ashley, hey, welcome to the channel. And that is the idea, is just to relax and think simple, but man, do these things work. So I think we got a little more time. Maybe we could do a few more of these kind of like, what are other simple ways to draw stuff? But first, well, it's a little out of the way. Yeah, it's okay. Possibility, so simple. You grab copies of Conan and Economic. Thanks for the tips. Oh, cool. Good to hear, bun wires. Oh, the other thing was a portal. You've got a lot of 3D terrain artists making super awesome portals. You know, like Black Magic has those dope portals. Scotty has the light up necro casting mania. I've seen a lot of people with the Hearst stuff. They make these swirly glue portals. This stuff is awesome, right? But you're the 3x5 card DM and you need a portal. So again, perspective doesn't matter. So you can try both. So if you like the front view kind of perspective, kind of make a weird like little Hellboy thing here. Right? And notice, I'm not worried about if I did it symmetrically or like, I'm just not worried about it. Draw what you already drew again, and oops, you kind of get some accidental 3D. Then always, whatever the bottom of your object is, scribble on it. It makes it look like a shadow, like you kind of know what you're doing. And then right in here, you just do one of these. Right? And then with just the tip of your Sharpie, you do these little guys. That's it. And then to, you know, really drive it home, redraw what you already drew. There you go. And then little dots. Dots are just great. Dots always make it feel like things have scale and things are ominous. And then you can always do these kind of cheap stares that I do like that. So there would be, if you like the sort of the front view kind of angle on things. Happy little tendrils coming out of a happy little portal. And then if you're more of a top view kind of a guy or girl, then you kind of do, here's the tops of the thingies and kind of go like that. Top of the thing, kind of go like that. This is a little 3D. And then draw your ellipse as your portal. Now that one's pretty cool. That's hard to dislike. Then here's your stairs. All good portals have stairs, and you kind of scribble along the sides. And then do your standard step of dark on the bottom. Yeah, that's kind of fun. And then dots. So that would be like a, here's the card. That would be like a top view of a portal. So it's kind of like, you know, you're looking down on it from player or DM view. So I think that kind of, I mean, I think I could do a lot cooler drawing. I think a lot of people could. But the point that I wanted to show you guys is if you just don't hesitate and you just kind of draw some sort of potato-y doo-doo, it actually works kind of awesome. It's kind of fun. And it actually, there's a flavor to it that kind of takes on a life of its own. So if I really wanted to, you know, I could get much more into exactly how I'm drawing this stuff. You know, I actually, for fun, here's another way you guys can, if you want to blow your mind for just a second. So this is sort of a way to negatively draw like you're working with construction paper. So let's do the front view. So you can't really quite see what I'm doing as clearly, but I'm just going to start doing shapes. And this is just like cutting out pieces of construction paper. So I'm just doing the same steps. I'm doing the stairs, and I'm doing the pillars. And the pillars have like cool, weird markings on them, you know, like this kind of Cthulhu-y stuff, right? So you can see I can get some more depth and some more like sort of cool if I kind of work on this a little more and use this kind of construction paper technique, and things feel a little more accurate, a little more dramatic. But I think the point that I wanted to make tonight is that really this doesn't buy you a lot more as a DM to have this much more sort of practiced kind of graphical style at your command, even though it's cool to look at. You know, you actually get a lot out of just drawing with a Sharpie rather than using sort of more advanced techniques and so on and so forth. And I think that's just what I wanted to demonstrate. So there's a sort of a cool, whoa, cool portal, man. It's crazy. What's going on? This is nuts. And kind of delete some parts and make it look neat. You know, there you go. So can you show us a picture of your version of non-Euclidean geometry? Oh man, that is a tremendous challenge. Non-Euclidean geometry is, for those of you who don't know, is a generic sort of Lovecraftian term for geometry that doesn't obey common sense of aesthetics or symmetry. To actually draw it is a little challenging. I think it's sort of, you kind of do these sort of shapes. Also, the scale that stuff is on is always really titanic to make it make sense. So Let me try to capture that. It's a bit of a troll request, but maybe I can win the day anyways. Sort of still using this kind of construction paper technique. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of like blending shapes. and they need to try to sort of become cubes and things like that. It's very difficult. That isn't right. Let's try it conventional style. So it'd be like there's a cube, and then halfway through the cube, it becomes sort of a pyramid. And then the pyramid also has like these weird sort of spires coming out, and they don't make any sense. And like, here's a person. And there's like that, there's good non-Euclidean geometry. It's like 4 different polysolids that combine in ways that don't make any damn sense. And then there's a door in it, and there's like 2 little eyes in the door. There you go. So that is a very difficult challenge. You're a troll, and I can't draw that. I can't draw that which cannot be drawn. I think the very thing is that, you know, non-Euclidean means you look at it and you can't comprehend how the different polygons are forming the shape. Wait, where am I? I just shit myself. Means draw it wrong. Just scribble here so people think that you know what you're doing. Yeah, that is definitely the key to drawing. It's just kind of draw some extra things that you don't know what they are, and everybody will think like you had a total intent. I saw one that I wonder, I don't know how to scroll here, but can I scroll? Oh, it's this little guy. I saw something about room design. A rabid raccoon. People think you're breakable terrains. Exploded wall door for breakable terrain. Exploded wall. Oh, there it is. The inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration for designing your room designs? That was the comment I was looking for. Jack Hood. That's probably this will be one of our last ones here because it is getting late for school night, but that's a great question. So while I draw the exploded door, let's talk about that. So first you want your normal door. So if we kind of follow our rules, where do I get the ideas that inspire the room designs? Well, I think from the same place that a lot of game designers get their ideas. Just from moments that I want to see happen and moments that I remember from all my favorite game experiences. Like, you know, all the way back to Zelda and Mega Man and stuff like that. Is, you know, as many of you guys know, I work in the game industry. And when you're doing it professionally, it's not like you're strutting around telling everybody all your cool ideas and then they get created. That is not how it goes down. So if someone tells you that, they got something going that I don't. But a lot of the times it's very collaborative and it's a lot of hard work and you need to make a lot of compromises, and that's what it's all about. So for me, especially the term room design really came from the feeling of really enjoying the freedom of designing entire spaces and gameplay mechanics all by myself, just for my little group of players. And I liked calling it room design because it really made it feel like this is an art form. You know, this is like level design. This is like systems design, you know, which normally are like cool terms left to people that I don't have their job. I have a different job. And I think I kind of wanted to get a taste. I wanted to be cool. And I think that's where it came from. So, but where do the specific rooms and the specific mechanics come from? Man, that's a good question. We just played an encounter with a frost giant's daughter. And basically her father was the sort of king of the frost giants. And he's really mean and a little bit insane and sadistic. And he's definitely the enemy of the players. But his daughter is sort of hoping that someone will come along in the frozen waste that will give her hope and maybe rescue her, right? And so there's some interesting plot and different room mechanics that can result from that sort of micro story. And so I played with that and created a bunch of room designs around it. But the actual idea of the Frost Giant's Daughter is one of the very earliest Conan stories, and one of my favorites. It's really simple. Conan just spots this girl in the snow and chases her and then kills some frost giants and then wakes up. Like, that's literally it. But it just, the feeling of the chase in the snow and the girl and the mean frost giant dad and everything, it just felt, it really made sense to me. You know, and then I'm just like everybody. I'll just see something in a movie or in a book that I really like and just run with it. I think, you know, a big part of the art form is just taking your tastes and your preferences seriously and not second guessing yourself, and just acknowledging like, yeah, man, this will be awesome. This is an idea. This is cool, and kind of going with it. So, and then before you know it, you've got this kind of really full-fledged, far-flung concepts, which could be called a room design, you know, where it really is a full-on game mechanic. Another huge one is a lot of the great mechanics present in World of Warcraft. You know, a lot of those boss fights just have fantastic mechanics that move people, use line of sight and everything. And I haven't played in a little while. I honestly got a little bored of it, but I put a solid 7 years in that game. So I was there for all the good stuff. I'm sure it's still fine. I'm sure still a lot of people play it, but captured a lot of the wonderful essence that is playing in a group and raiding and, you know, staying out of poison gas and, you know, a lot of classic old tropes from old 2nd edition D&D that found their way into World of Warcraft. So anyways, hey, we're still on the destroyed door kind of thing. So this is it after it's destroyed. So it's just like a big hole instead of a door with some cracks and some rubble and stuff like that. So the players now feel like, oh yeah, that's right. We can just walk through here anytime we want. And again, this is just real slop, but I think you kind of see the idea. No live badass D&D with Hank, just some awesome vids and drunk shows. Quite sober on this one. Check out Druid New Year's. Oh my God, draw her off. Why? He's quite sober. You know, that was a moment. That was a moment in time there, and unfortunately, it's on the internet forever. But I'm not sure that extreme drunkenness being recorded for all is what I set out to do with the channel. So we will have good times, but that's why it's called Druid New Year's, is because like shit's off the chain, gets a little crazy. Were you in the Guild Runehammer? No, I never heard of it. Yeah, that was crazy. I paid for that 4.5 hours too. I paid a dear price. So anyways, that was the idea for tonight. Just wanted to kind of enjoy the cintiq with you guys. I hope you guys are digging the idea of like a live show where we can sort of look at drawings together, draw out ideas. I thought maybe a map making one might be really fun. Doing some character art might be really fun. I don't know, maybe we should do more like biaxial graphing. This is number of viewers, and this is how drunk I get, and it's definitely this kind of a trend. Right? And somewhere right in here is where I actually am risking liver failure. So we're going to skull and crossbones there. Right? So we don't want to reach that point. So really the ultimate YouTube video would be right about there. cintiq is unique. More live shows, always finding time for them. Awesome. I think I'm going to try to bring the live thing a little more into the fold. I know that my microphone is horrible. It's in this tiny little camera. So I was going to get a good mic, you know, one of these like oversized Johnny Carson deals. And maybe start doing live every week, because I really think, honestly, it's a way to cut through all the editing and kind of the jerba and get down to more of a conversation where we can interact and just kind of talk about the art of doing D&D. Now, the edited videos are really funny, but I think, I don't know, maybe you guys agree, but it's much more, there's much more here. Hey, Hank, do you have plans to do character class descriptions or your take? That's a fantastic idea. I definitely have neglected the player side of the game tremendously on the channel. And I think that's something that I would like to rectify. A lot of the channels that I like to watch are much more thorough with info for players and stuff like that. We will definitely do another drinking marathon. Do not be as scared. We might even find a way to like transmit live from Ren Fair or something. That would be super funny. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's awesome to hang out live just because we can take questions, and there's just no questions with the edited videos. It's all just sort of, hey guys, here's a brain spew. Hope it's entertaining. Displacer Beast reskin. Sure. Rakshasas are, that stuff's weird for me. I haven't delved there. I'm still a Rakshasa virgin. I'm one of 42 Rakshasa virgins. That's about it, you guys. I have got to get my shit together. I got to get the novel up on Amazon so you guys can check that out, and go to bed so I can get up 5:30 and tomorrow and keep doing this. So you're a funny guy live or edited. Well, hey, Isfenyar the Accursed. Isfenyar. Man, what does that remind me of? I don't know. Is Fan Yar? No, Fan's not Yar. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I think I'm going to get the hell out of here. Hey, River, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's great to have everybody asking questions and kicking it. Awesome to host another show. Great to be drawing for you guys. We're going to get into some much more crazy stuff instead of just speed slop all the time. Maybe we'll do something good. Maybe I don't know if there's anything on here at the moment. It's just this silly stuff. Oh, well, if you guys follow my portfolio page, you know that I just, are these guys here? Yeah, I just threw these guys up last night. This is just a fun little side project that I did. I don't know if you guys are familiar with War Machine, but just for shits and grins, threw together some Warjack doodles. So if you want to look up my blog that I do an art blog called The Art of Brandon Gillum. That's me there. I just gave away my real name. That way you can go check out my artwork. And so I was just doing some of these little doodles of these like modular little Warjack guys. They're like these battle bots from War Machine from Iron Kingdoms by Privateer Press. So it was really fun. I did like 6 of them. They're kind of made out of the same parts. But the neat part about it is you can like grab one of their arms and pull it off, and you can grab the chassis and remove it. And, you know, like maybe I want to put this chassis on that dude, and I can kind of put the armor over here and move the helmet around and stuff. So kind of goofy stuff. So we'll get into something like that with D&D. We can try some modular character builds. I love the idea of looking at class ideas. Maybe we could make some mod classes and like, how can you make a fighter cool? How can you make a ranger cool? You know, take some classic old character ideas and kind of mod them up, kind of like my dagger mage that I did on the one video. But yeah, either way, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun with this toy right here, and we'll do it together because that's the way to do D&D is with your homies. So, whew. Yeah, well, hey, hankering's what, you know, it's a hank out. So can I give a link? Let me see if I can type it in here. Google this. There you go. Google that. And you'll find my blog where I put up random doo-doo from things that I make. Yeah. So great. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'll see you next time on Drunkards and Dragons. Strength, honor, and blood wine. And, of course, doodling on 3x5 cards to make your game cool. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys next time. I'm going to push the big red button. I'm going to do it. Oh, wait. I don't even know how to do it. Where is the big red button? Oh, wait. Oh, I see it. No!